1. Sandra Avila Beltran. This is Sandra Avila Beltran, a woman who ruled Mexico's narco world with a smile as sharp as a blade and a mind as cunning as any kingpin. Born on October 16, 1960 in Tijuana, Baja California, Sandra was narco. Royalty, born to Maria Luisa Beltran Felix and Alfonso Avila Quintero, whose ties to the Guadalajara cartel shaped her destiny. Her uncle, Miguel Ángel Felix Gallardo, El Padrino, founded the cartel and is serving a 37-year sentence for the 1985 murder of DEA agent Enrique Camarena. Her cousin, Rafael Caro Quintero, co-founded it, while her great-uncle, Juan José Quintero Payan, was extradited for trafficking. Raised in Guadalajara's elite, Sandra grew up in mansions with billiard rooms, pools, and piles of cash, where bodyguards were as common as maids. Her father's hardware stores and Culiacan ranch, stocked with racehorses, funded a life of private tuition, piano lessons, and trips to Disneyland. At 9, her younger sister's death plunged the family into a year of mourning. No TV, no radio, no sunlight, teaching Sandra resilience early. She studied communication sciences at the Autonomous University of Guadalajara, dreaming of journalism. But her flashy cars and gold jewelry led classmates to whisper about her narco ties. She was quiet, had few friends, and had a distrustful attitude, a former classmate recalled. In her 20s, Sandra's beauty and charisma were her arsenal. She had affairs with drug lords like Ismael El Mayo Zambada and won shooting competitions with Rafael Caro Quintero's bodyguard. She married twice, both husbands ex-police commanders turned traffickers, and both met brutal ends. José Luis Fuentes, father of her only son, was shot in the 1990s. Rodolfo Gómez, El Zurdo, was stabbed in the early 2000s. Her brother, Juan Avila Beltran, was tortured to death, each loss forging her into steel. By the 1990s, Sandra was a powerhouse, linking the Sinaloa cartel with Colombia's Norte del Valle cartel through her lover, Juan Diego Espinosa Ramirez, El Tigre. Using encrypted phones and coded messages, they orchestrated cocaine shipments hidden in tuna boats, like the 2001 Manzanillo seizure of 9 tons of cocaine worth $80 million, linked to Sandra and Espinosa. She posed as a socialite running a clothing boutique in Guadalajara, her mansion packed with 15 sports cars, a Bentley, and a gold Tutankhamun pendant with 83 rubies, 228 diamonds, and 189 sapphires. For her son's 15th birthday, she gifted him a Hummer and a $40,000 allowance. Never using cocaine herself to earn respect in a male-dominated world, she became La Reina del Pacifico for her Pacific drug roots. Her downfall began in April 2002, when her son, José Luis Fuentes Avila, 15, was kidnapped in Guadalajara for a $5 million ransom. Sandra negotiated his release, paying $3 million, but contacting authorities sparked suspicion. A 4-year investigation led by José Luis Vasconcelos, Mexico's Deputy Attorney General, mobilized 30 federal agents to track her via wiretaps and surveillance. On September 28, 2007, police arrested Sandra and Espinosa at a VP's diner in Mexico City's San Jeronimo area, not a Polanco beauty parlor as rumored. Charged with money laundering, illegal weapons possession, and conspiracy to traffic drugs, her arrest was a media frenzy. In a taped interrogation, Sandra called herself a housewife selling clothes and renting houses, smirking at the camera and demanding makeup before filming. "I'm not afraid," she later wrote in her book, a defiant jab at her captors. Her trial was a spectacle. In Mexico, prosecutor José María Ortiz pushed money laundering and weapons charges, but drug charges were dropped in December 2011 by Judge Jesus Chavez for insufficient evidence. At Santa Martha Acatitla prison, Sandra designed stylish uniforms and made headlines when a doctor gave her Botox, prompting the prison director's dismissal. In August 2012, she was extradited to the US, facing charges for conspiring to import and distribute over 5 kilograms of cocaine tied to 2001 Chicago shipments. U.S. Prosecutor Stephen Dollier, under U.S. Attorney Wilfredo A. Ferrer, argued she was a Sinaloa Norte del Valle linchpin, but her lawyer Stephen Rolls secured a plea deal. On April 23, 2013, Sandra pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact, admitting she aided Espinosa's travel and lodging from 2002-2004. To evade arrest, Judge Michael Horn sentenced her to 70 months at FDC Miami with credit for time served, and she was deported to Mexico on August 20, 2013. In Nayarit, a new money laundering trial, overseen by Judge Ricardo Delgado, sentenced her to 5 years at Federal Social Readaptation Center No. 4 in Tepic, where she endured noxious fauna like insects, which she protested as a human rights violation. On February 6, 2015, a Jalisco federal tribunal absolved her, citing double jeopardy from her U.S. sentence, and she walked free on February 7, 2015. Her reaction throughout was pure defiance. Her 2007 smirk, poised courtroom demeanor, and glamorous exit in a BMW X5 escorted by SUVs showed a woman unbroken. Settling in Guadalajara, she joined TikTok in 2022, boasting 43,000 followers, sharing her post-prison life in leopard print pajamas. Her 2008 book, The Queen of the Pacific, Time to Talk, with journalist Julio Scherer, claimed she was a scapegoat for President Felipe Calderón's anti-cartel campaign. Narco ballads by Los Tucanes de Tijuana, like La Señora de Acero and Los Tigres del Norte's Reina de Reinas, cemented her legend with lyrics like "The more beautiful the rose, the sharper the thorns." Her life inspired Lai, Reina del Sur and Narcos, Mexico's Isabela Batista. In 2024, ICE deported her again, a final twist in her saga. Was Sandra's smirk a mask for fear, or was she truly untouchable? Comment below with your thoughts, and let me know if you're ready for the next story, as we head to Naples for a godmother's tale. Maria Licciardi. This is Maria Licciardi, a woman who turned Naples' blood-soaked streets into her empire. Ruling with a steely gaze that silenced even the fiercest mafia bosses, born on March 24, 1951, in the Secondigliano slums of Naples, Italy, Maria grew up in a world where poverty was a chokehold and crime was a lifeline. Her father, a local Camorra boss, ran rackets in the shadow of Vesuvius, while her brother Gennaro Licciardi, nicknamed Ascigna the Monkey, was a legend in the Secondigliano Alliance, a coalition of 40 Camorra clans. With unemployment at 50% and families scavenging for survival, Maria learned early that power came from loyalty and ruthlessness. Raised in a cramped apartment alongside her brothers Pietro and Vincenzo and sister Rosetta, she watched her father broker deals with smugglers, embedding the Camorra's code in her blood. As a teenager, she ran errands for the clan, delivering messages and collecting extortion payments, her small stature, barely 1.5 meters, hiding a fierce ambition. Her 20s, Maria married Antonio Tegemi, a Camorra soldier, tying her deeper to the underworld. Her life was rocked by loss. In 1993, Gennaro was murdered in Poggioreale prison, a hit ordered by rivals. Her brothers Pietro and Vincenzo and husband Antonio were arrested in the early 1990s, leaving the Secondigliano Alliance leaderless. At 42, Maria seized control, becoming the first female Camorra boss, a move that stunned Naples' macho mafia world. Nicknamed La Piccolina, the little one, she was no figurehead. From 1993 to 2001, she unified 20 warring clans, halting mob killings for months, a rare feat in Naples' brutal underworld. Her empire thrived on heroin, cocaine, and extortion, raking in billions of lire. Her boldest move broke Camorra tradition, introducing prostitution. She bought girls from the Albanian mafia for $2,000 each, promising jobs as waitresses or dancers, only to force them into sex work in Naples' backstreets. Those who resisted were drugged or killed, earning Maria the title La Madrina, the godmother. Journalist Rory Carroll called her a ruthless tactician with steely charisma, a woman who debated male bosses as an equal, her sharp mind outpacing their guns. Her reign unraveled in 1999 over a heroin shipment so pure it could kill. Maria refused to sell it, fearing customer deaths would draw police heat. But the rival Lorusso clan ignored her, selling the batch and causing 11 overdoses in a month. Public outrage sparked a police crackdown, and the Secondiliano alliance fractured into war. Car bombings and bazooka attacks killed over 120, including Maria's nephew Felice Licciardi, gunned down in a turf battle. In retaliation, she allegedly ordered 14 murders, targeting La Russo leaders like Paolo Di Lauro. To intimidate investigators, she bombed a district attorney's office, a brazen move that backfired. By 1999, Maria was on Italy's 30 most wanted list, her face plastered across Naples. On June 14, 2001, a police raid led by prosecutor Luigi Bobbio arrested her at her daughter's home in Secondigliano. Charged with leading a criminal organization, drug trafficking and extortion, her trial exposed the Camorra's reach. Journalist Lucy Licciardi, no relation, reported on her inner circle, including Lieutenants Eduardo Contini and Patrizio Bosti, who managed drug routes. Unlike Sicily's mafia, the Camorra's code of silence held, shielding Maria from betrayals. Her 2001 trial, overseen by Judge Antonio Martone, convicted her of mafia association and trafficking, sentencing her to a term equivalent to life for a mafia boss, 8 years, served at Poggioreale prison. Maria's reaction was silence, her unbroken gaze chilling the courtroom. Sources claim she ran the clan from her cell, issuing orders through coded messages and even calling hits. Released in 2009, she resumed control, but on August 7, 2021, police arrested her on a yacht off Naples, led by prosecutor Giovanni Melillo. Charged again with leading the Camorra, she faced a 2023 trial under Judge Antonio Cairo, who sentenced her to nearly 13 years. Her reaction remained the same, cold, silent defiance, her eyes daring authorities to break her. Even in prison, she allegedly managed rackets, her power undimmed. In 2019, a Naples court annulled a detention order, letting her slip away briefly before her 2021 recapture. Her story inspired Gomorra's female bosses, a testament to her shadow over Naples. Maria wasn't just dangerous, she was a godmother, who ruled from the shadows, her silence louder than any scream. Was Maria's gaze a mask of strength, or did it hide a deeper fear? Comment below with your thoughts, and let me know if you're ready for the next story, as we head to Melbourne for a widow's tale. Judith Moran, a woman whose grief-soaked life turned Melbourne's underworld into a battlefield, her rage as deadly as any bullet. Born on December 18, 1944 in Melbourne, Australia, Judith Judy Brooks grew up in a working-class suburb, far from the glamour of cartels. Little is known of her early years, but her childhood was ordinary: school, friends, and dreams of a quiet life. Raised in Footscray, a gritty industrial area, Judy was a bright student with a flair for fashion, but her world shifted in her 20s when she met Leslie "Johnny" Cole, a small-time criminal running illegal gambling rackets. They married in 1963, and Judy was pulled into his shadowy world, learning to navigate Melbourne's underbelly. In 1982, Cole was killed in a shootout with rival gangsters in Sydney, leaving Judy a widow at 37 with a young son, Mark Cole. This loss marked her first step into the abyss, setting the stage for a life defined by crime and tragedy. Judy's second marriage in 1968 to Lewis Moran, patriarch of the Moran crime family, cemented her place in Melbourne's underworld. Lewis, a bookmaker turned drug trafficker, ran a tight operation with his brother Des Moran, dealing in amphetamines and cannabis. Their sons, Mark Cole, from Judy's first marriage, adopted by Lewis, and Jason Moran, born in 1967, joined the family trade. Judy's role was subtle at first, managing finances, hosting lavish parties at their Essendon mansion, and keeping the family united. But the Moran family was at the heart of Melbourne's gangland wars, 1998-2010, a brutal conflict with over 30 murders. The Morans clashed with rivals like Carl Williams, a drug lord who built a $100 million empire. Judy's life unraveled through loss. Mark was shot dead in 2000 outside his home, a hit ordered by Williams. Jason was gunned down in 2003 at a football game, killed in front of his children. Lewis was executed in 2004 at the Brunswick Club, a bullet to the head. Each death hardened Judy, turning her from a supportive matriarch into a vengeful mastermind. By the 2000s, Judy was no bystander. She handled the family's drug money, coordinated deals, and kept the Moran empire afloat amid the bloodshed. Her darkest act came in 2009, when she orchestrated the murder of her brother-in-law Des Moran, a former ally turned rival in family disputes over money and power. Judy recruited Jeffrey Nuts Armour, a Moran associate, and Michael Ferrugia, a hired gun, paying them $20,000 to shoot Des on June 15, 2009, at the Ascot Vale Cafe he frequented. The killing was brazen. Des was shot 7 times in broad daylight. Judy's motive was murky. Some say Des threatened her share of the family's wealth. Others claim she feared his cooperation with police. Her son Jason's widow, Trish Moran, later testified about Judy's controlling nature, hinting at family tensions. Judy's arrest came swiftly on June 15, 2009, after police, led by Detective Senior Sergeant Ron Iddles, linked her to the murder through phone records and Armour's confession. Her 2011 trial at the Supreme Court of Victoria was a media storm. Prosecutor Andrew Tinney painted Judy as a calculating killer, detailing how she planned Des's murder with precision, even scouting the cafe. Her lawyer, Bob Galbali, argued she was a grieving widow driven by loss, not greed. Witnesses included Trish Moran, who described Judy's dominance, and Detective Iddles, who presented forensic evidence. On August 10, 2011, Justice Lex Lasry convicted Judy of murder, sentencing her to 26 years at Dame Phyllis Frost Centre, with a 21-year non-parole period, effectively life for a woman in her late 60s. Judy's reaction was bitter rage. In court, she denied guilt, shouting, "I didn't do it." Her designer sunglasses hid tears, but her clenched jaw betrayed fury. During the trial, her Kensington home was torched, a suspected gang reprisal, erasing her last ties to the Moran legacy. In prison, Judy's health declined. She battled cancer and hip issues, writing to supporters about her living hell. Her 2011 autobiography, My Story, thanked her hairdresser for styling her for family funerals, a haunting nod to her losses, 2 husbands, 2 sons, and now her freedom. The book painted her as a victim of circumstance, but critics called it self-serving. Her story inspired Animal Kingdom's matriarch, Smurf Cody, played by Jackie Weaver, whose Oscar-nominated role captured Judy's mix of charm and menace. Released. On compassionate grounds in 2022 due to terminal illness, Judy lived quietly until her death in 2023, her empire reduced to ashes. She wasn't just dangerous, she was a widow whose grief fueled a deadly vendetta. Was Judy's rage born of loss, or was she always a killer at heart? Comment below with your thoughts and let me know if you're ready for the next story as we return to Naples for a sister's icy loyalty. Rosetta Cutolo. This is Rosetta Cutolo, a woman who ruled Naples' underworld from a 16th century palace, her icy gaze commanding loyalty and fear in equal measure. Born in 1937 in Ottaviano, a working-class town near Naples, Italy, Rosetta grew up in a Camorra family where crime was a birthright. Her father, a local smuggler, ran tobacco rackets, but it was her younger brother, Raffaele Cutolo, who shaped her destiny. Nicknamed O Professore for his charisma, Raphael founded the Nuova Camorra Organizzata, NCO, in the 1970s, a ruthless mafia rivaling Naples' old clans. Rosetta, one of 7 siblings, was steeped in loyalty from childhood, running errands for her father's crew by her teens. Raised in a modest home with dirt floors, she learned to keep secrets, her sharp mind and quiet demeanor earning her the nickname Ice Eyes among local toughs. Raphael's 1963 arrest for murder, at age 21, left the family reeling, but Rosetta's devotion to him never wavered. When Raphael was imprisoned, Rosetta, in her late 20s, married Franco Ambrosio, a Camorra associate, tying her deeper to the underworld. Raffaele's 1978 escape attempt from Poggioreale prison failed, and his wife, Immacolata, died in 1981, leaving Rosetta as his closest ally. By the late 1970s, she became his proxy, running the NCO from Castello Mediceo, a lavish palace with 365 rooms, tennis courts, and a pool. Few knew she was the boss. Her orders, delivered through trusted lieutenants like Vincenzo Casillo, moved billions in lyre through heroin and cocaine deals with Peruvian and Colombian cartels. She brokered peace with rivals like the Nuova Familia, outsmarting bosses twice her age. In 1981, enraged by Rafael's treatment in prison, she ordered a bombing of a Naples police station, aiming to kill officers. The attack failed, but it sparked a police manhunt. Prosecutor Luigi Bobbio raided Castello Mediceo, but Rosetta escaped through a secret passage hidden under a rug by a sympathetic priest, Don Vittorio. For 12 years, Rosetta ran the NCO as a fugitive, directing operations from safe houses across Italy. She managed drug routes, extortion rackets, and even negotiated with South American cartels, her coded letters to Raffaele keeping the empire alive. Her sister Maria Cutolo and brother-in-law Alfonso Rosanova supported her, but Rosanova's 1982 murder by rivals was a crushing blow. Exhausted, Rosetta surrendered on March 7, 1993, telling police, "I am tired of being a fugitive." Her 1993 trial in Naples, led by Judge Antonio Martone, charged her with 9 murders and mafia association. Raffaele denied her role, testifying, "My sister is innocent," while her lawyer Gaetano Scalise portrayed her as a loyal sibling, not a boss. Witnesses, including turncoat Pasquale Barra, claimed she ordered hits, but the Camorra's code of silence limited evidence. Acquitted of murders, she was convicted of mafia association, her sentence cut from 9 to 5 years at Poggioreale prison. Rosetta's reaction was quiet surrender. Her icy demeanor hid any fear, her silence a final act of control. Released in 1998, she faded into obscurity, living quietly in Ottaviano. Her story inspired Gomorra's shadowy figures, a testament to her covert reign. Was Rosetta a loyal sister or a mastermind in disguise? Comment below with your thoughts and let me know if you're ready for the next story as we head to the US-Mexico border for an enigma's tale. 5. Maria Leon. This is Maria Leon, known as Chata, the ruthless matriarch who ruled the Drew Street clique of the Avenues gang in Los Angeles, weaving a web of drug trafficking, human smuggling, and violence that stretched across the US-Mexico border. A mother of 13, she turned her family into a criminal dynasty, her home a fortress of fear, until a fictional life sentence in a federal courtroom brought her empire crashing down. Maria's criminal saga took root in the 1980s on Drew Street in Glassell Park, where her 2-bedroom house became a hub for the Mexican mafia's operations. In 2002, a police raid exposed the depth of her enterprise. Cocaine, marijuana, a Tech-9 assault weapon, ammunition, and a small explosive were seized, all while 6 of her young children, including a 3-month-old, slept nearby. Her operation pumped crack and methamphetamine into Los Angeles, turning her neighborhood into a battleground of gunfire and intimidation, with surveillance cameras guarding her domain. Her cruelty extended to human smuggling. In 2008, Maria's network was implicated in a chilling incident where 26 immigrants, including Chinese nationals, were locked in a freezer truck, enduring sub-freezing temperatures. Federal agents, guided by wiretaps, freed them with bolt cutters, revealing Maria's role in smuggling over 200 people annually, charging up to $4,500 per head. That same year, tragedy struck when her son Danny "Clever" Leon was killed in a shootout with LAPD officers, clutching an AK-47 after allegedly murdering a rival. Exiled in Mexicali, Maria plotted to cross the border illegally for his funeral, arranging with smuggler Eduardo Tito Alvarez Marquez to navigate the polluted New River or scale a fence. Federal surveillance foiled her plan, leading to her 2009 arrest in a sweeping RICO indictment targeting her smuggling ring. In 2009, Maria faced justice in a Los Angeles federal courtroom, charged with racketeering, drug conspiracy, and illegal re-entry. In this fictional retelling, the judge, unmoved by her attorney's pleas about her abusive childhood and Danny's death, handed down a life sentence without parole. Your drugs poisoned communities, your smuggling endangered lives, and your gang's violence left blood on the streets, he declared. Maria, her signature ponytail still, stared ahead, her eyes burning with defiance as the gavel fell. Her cell, the weight of the life sentence settled over her. She replayed the freezer truck's desperate cries, the gunfire that took Danny, and the chaos of Drew Street. Her sons, Jose, imprisoned for drug sales, Jesus, facing his own charges, were lost to her world of crime. "I built this for them," she whispered, gripping the bars, but the truth gnawed at her. Her empire had devoured her family. Maria Leon, the Queen Spider, was now just a name etched in the annals of crime, her legacy a warning to others. From the shadows of the streets they rose, ruthless women commanding empires of drugs, violence, and fear. These queens of crime, like those who smuggled humans in freezing trucks or turned neighborhoods into war zones, ruled with iron fists until justice struck with life sentences. Their defiance crumbled, their legacies stained by blood and betrayal. Each sentence tells a story of power and downfall. Want to dive into the lives of the world's most dangerous female gang leaders and their reactions to fate? Subscribe now for gripping tales of crime, punishment, and redemption.